Hello, my name is Carl Surrey and this is a video tutorial for the Facebook group called Fans of Serif Software. Now recently I updated the banner for the group, and this is a screen grab that I've taken of that Facebook page, and I did this by using a template which I downloaded from the internet, and it didn't quite work, partly because this is a group page banner and the template is for a personal page banner, which is why I'm lost part of the logo for Craft Artist down here, because I had to lower the whole image down to allow me to get these other logos along the top. But on the whole it worked quite well. And if we have a look at my personal Facebook page one, as you can see, it's a slightly different layout, partly because you've got this photograph here, and then you have a name of in this section here, and then you have the buttons over here. So the layout is slightly different, and the template is designed to work with this layout rather than the group layout. But I managed to get by. So what I'm going to try and do is to show you how to use the template to change a personal Facebook page. Because if you've ever updated your personal Facebook page just by clicking on the icon up here in the left, I think, and a little menu comes down, if I remember correctly, about updating your page picture. Once it's uploaded the picture, you can only really move it a little bit to sort of get the image where you want it, and it's never completely what you want. But doing it using a template, you can get it how you want before you start, and then it should be all okay. Now this is what we're going to try. Now the other point of this tutorial is to show you how you can work with PSD files. Now PSD file is the same as Serif's SPP files, in that it saves the document with all the layers that were made to make up that image or document, whichever you want to use. But the PSD file works with Adobe's Photoshop and Elements, but PhotoPlus can open these files and to a large extent can use them quite easily. I have on a couple of occasions where I've tried this, not with this particular PSD file, but other ones where PhotoPlus didn't quite handle it that well. I suppose partly because of maybe a tool that was used in it that is available in Photoshop or Elements but isn't available in PhotoPlus. So as long as the tools are pretty much the same, it should work. So this is a sort of two-handed tutorial in we're going to look at using a PSD file and changing the Facebook personal banner. So first of all, we need to get the templates. Now you can do a Google search and just put in like Facebook banner templates and you'll get a whole list of them. The one I picked was by somebody called 12skip, and it is for the 2016 template. Now the problem with Facebook is that they change their layouts quite regularly, so this works with the current version, but 6 months down the line it may not work as well and you'd have to download a new template and try again. But I will be adding this web address to the Facebook page. So you should be able to get to here quite easily. And then when you get to here, you can, when it says click here to download the files, you just click on that, and the files should start to download. As you can see down here, they are starting to download, and they already have. So you can open the folder, and there we have it. Now it downloads as a zipped file, so you would just have to extract it, and once it is extracted, those files will be up here, Facebook. You get 2 files within that zipped file, but the one we're after is this second one. And in here you have 2 versions of it. You have the PSD file, which is what we're going to be looking at, but there is also a PNG version. Now the PNG version is basically a flat image. There are no layers, so you would place your image or images over the top of that to cover up the image underneath, but I found that a bit difficult to use because you can't really see the image underneath, so you don't know quite how it's working. That part would be easier to explain once we look at the PSD version. So you just right click on that, and or just double click it if you've only got PhotoPlus, but as I've got PhotoPlus and Elements, I will go to open with PhotoPlus, and this is the template here. And as it's a PSD file, like I said, you have all the different layers. What I'm going to do is collapse these other windows to give me more room to show you all the layers. Now the first, they are grouped. This group up here is for the mobile. If I turn this off and on, you can see that this bit here disappears and comes back. And similarly for this other group underneath, they can disappear and come back. So this section here, as you can see, this is the bit that is visible on mobile phones as they open the Facebook page. So obviously you can scan across left and right to see the rest of the page on a mobile, but the important section is this area here. So if you want it to be as important on mobiles as it is on desktop computers, you really want your main information in this area here. But I'm not too worried about that, so I'm going to turn those off, and this is the area that I'm going to be looking at. Now I don't know whether you can see this, but the background in very sort of faint writing, it says visible area. So all this area here in the white is the area that will be mainly visible on Facebook. And then you've got this section here where your picture goes, your name goes, and the CTA buttons here. I think CTA stands for call to action. If we go back to my one here, we've got the picture and then the name and then the call to action buttons here. Now obviously the image does come into like the name area and in and around the call to action buttons and even down the edge of the photograph, but the main details really need to be outside of those areas. So this is what we are going to try to do. So if I go back to the template, now there is also, you can't see it at the moment, but there is a another layer at the top where it's in white writing, so you can't see it at the moment, but there is a credit to who it's created by. You could leave that on if you wanted, but that ability to turn it off, I mean, it's already turned off when it starts, so they do know that you're not going to want to use that, but it is still embedded in the file, so you can, I presume it will sort of help copyright their product. So first, what we need now is an image to go into this area here, and I have a couple that I'm going to try. So I will use this one here, and then I will go select all, edit, copy, go back to the template. Now what you need to do here is to click on the very top layer and then come up to edit, paste as a new layer. Now this picture is much bigger than the template, so I'm going to have to resize it. So I've zoomed out, so when I click on the deform tool I can see the size of the image. If I hold down the shift button and drag this down quite small and then just move it in to the template area, I'll press shift and drag it down a bit more. Now it's near the template size. I can zoom out again and I'll just bring it over to here, and what I can do now it's roughly in place. If I click and hold this layer and drag it down to it comes under the name and category, and there's a little red line that will appear, and if I let go it will drag that layer down into this group. Now, I have found that you need to insert it as a layer at the top and then drag it down. If I tried to sort of click on this layer and then paste it in above, it didn't work. So I found it better to paste it in as a layer at the top and then drag it into the group. So now I can see where those call to action buttons will be, and I do know that part of this image will be lost down here where the buttons will go, not all of it, but so I can just put in there the parts of the picture I'm not worried about losing. So I'll bring this to about the halfway point. Do about there. So as you can see, that credit that I mentioned before, that for the company, is because it's in white letters and it's now got a black background, it is starting to show up, but like I said, you can turn that off. So now I just want another picture for the other side. So let's come to the other image I want to use, which is this one. Select all, edit, copy, come down to the template again, highlight the top layer, and then edit, paste as a new layer. Again, it's very big, so I'm going to use a deform tool, hold down the shift key to keep the proportions the same, and then drag this into roughly where I want it. I didn't mean to do that last move. Let's just do an undo and hold down the shift key and try that again. Very easy to forget that, to hold down the shift key to keep your proportions. Right, now it's virtually in the right area. I can zoom out again, and again drag this down to under name and categories, wait for the red line to appear, let go, and that is now shown behind those two squares, the profile photos and name and category, and so I can now move this to a position that I'm happy with. Not forgetting to turn off, because that's now become visible again, the credit to 12 skip. I'll turn that off again. I'll also turn off the deform tool. I'll just click on the rectangular one and it will get rid of those squares. Now you can just hide like the profile photo image, so you can see roughly what is you are losing from that image. Same goes for the CTA buttons, and then the name and categories. So I'm fairly happy with that, and I do know that part of these images will be appearing somewhere around these buttons and other sections. Not so much the photo, because that is going to be pretty much full up with the photo, so everything that's behind here will be lost, but not so much the name and categories or the CTA buttons. So it is just a case now of saving this as a JPEG. I personally would export it, so I'll come down to export. Oh, hang on. What I need to do is make those invisible, those buttons, because I don't want to save it with those on. Then export as a JPEG, click on export, and then I will just change the name, banner 2, and then click save. So then all I need to do is open my Facebook page, go to my main page, come up to update cover photo, upload photo, and then I just got to find where is it? That one, Facebook banner 2. Click open, and then save changes, and there, that is that. That is my cover photo banner updated, and as you can see, the CTA photo buttons hide a bit of the feet, and as my name sort of just covers a bit around here, and obviously the photo takes up most of the space there. But using that template, you can position or place whatever you want within your Facebook banner, and it will hopefully look better than just uploading any old picture and trying to move it around. I hope that has been of some help to all of you, partly in helping you update your Facebook banners, but also letting you know that you can use PSD files along with the tools that are found within the whatever layers the person's used are available in PhotoPlus. It should work pretty much okay. So I hope that has been of some help and you've enjoyed watching it. Thank you very much, and goodbye.